when we decided to do this presentation, I had said to Nodine, what do people want to know? And how can I, as the GM of brand and strategy for Nandos, help other people in a multitude of different businesses with different types of challenges that you're facing in the next year in terms of your brand and business strategy. So I decided to share with you some of the most asked and answered questions that we get at Nandos. So I'm going to take you through those, and I think that might eliminate your Q&A need at the end of this process. But these are kind of the most commonly asked questions I get as an Nandoka person that works inside Nandos. So I'm hoping that will provoke a little bit of support and debate in terms of what can help you in your next year's business plan. So this is kind of brought together by this very cool meme that circulates quite often on the internet. So this talk today is brought to you by these people who say, I act like I'm okay, but deep down, I really want to be part of the Nandos marketing team. So I have that honor and privilege. I am part of the Nandos marketing team. So here's a little bit of an inside approach as to what that's like and what we do with our time, right, to drive the Nandos brand. So the first question, I guess, is most people say to me, what do people misunderstand the most about what it's like to work in marketing at Nandos? And that is that most people think that I make ads, which I do, but that's actually a very small portion of my time. So most of the time I'm on one of these three apps, like most business people would be. I spend a lot of time on Excel trying to calculate things and figure out and forecast things. I then spend a lot of time on Teams because I work very cross-functionally with different parts of our business. It's absolutely critical to know and understand what other people are doing, from your supply chain to your operations team to every single Nandoka that works inside a restaurant. And then I spend a lot of time on PowerPoint trying to communicate our plans and ideas. I think that's a very key learning, is that you can put things in a beautiful PowerPoint and you can tell everyone what you think they should do. But if you're not really communicating your vision and what it is that you're trying to get the business to do, you absolutely will just live on PowerPoints, and there won't be a way forward for you in terms of trying to get your plans to actually come to life. Nobody, no matter what level of decision making you are at or how powerful you might be in the business, can do anything alone. So being able to tell a strong story and give enough context as to why you're trying to do something is a critical aspect of what I spend most of my time doing. Advertising is not marketing. So most of our questions that we get about marketing is actually about advertising. Advertising is one part of marketing. And at Nando's, marketing is a far bigger kind of realm of responsibility and accountability in our business than just the advertising portion. Of course, that's what most of our consumers see. They don't see me in Excel trying to change 276 price points. They see ads on TV. So that would make sense. Now, the question I get often is, what makes Nando's worth the price? So I'm sure that most people who are trying to price their products and services for the upcoming year are looking at some hefty inflation numbers, some hefty cost of goods sold as the price of raw material has gone up, as supply chains struggle to get stock of things that potentially you import, or raw and unfinished material, which we import a lot of in South Africa. And we also have that, right? So we definitely don't have cheap chicken. And the reason for that is because we have very high quality specific standards on what kind of chicken we will serve. All of our chicken is locally sourced, and we have quite specific requirements in terms of the food that we will compile and sell in our restaurants. So as we say at Nando's, nice things cost ne. And that is actually why our food is not super cheap. It's not an area that we really want to focus on. We want to make our food affordable, but we're not interested in giving away cheap food that's bad for people. So that's probably what I would say is what makes Nando's worth the price. you know you're getting good quality food made from really good ingredients. 90-something% of them are locally sourced. There's one or two small things. Definitely all your chicken is locally sourced. And that's probably what you're actually doing when you buy an Nando's meal. You're making a quality decision that's better for you than most of our competitors. And that costs us a little bit more. Is Nando's bigger in South Africa than anywhere else? And the answer is no. We actually have more Nando's restaurants in the United Kingdom than we do in South Africa. And we're in a number of other countries. The restaurants that you're looking at here are actually in Zimbabwe and Botswana. So we have Nando's in numerous countries, the USA, the Philippines, Singapore, Australia, and throughout the UK, we have almost double the number of restaurants as we have in South Africa. So I would say Nando's is a significant export for South Africa. And in the UK, it is actually the biggest independent restaurant chain in Britain, basically. So it's quite big in other places too, even though it's homegrown, born and bred in South Africa. How do you get your social memes out so far? So this is very common, right? This meme that we released in June this year broke the internet for a day or two. We had lots of very upset people and lots of very excited people about this, which is what tends to happen when we make social memes. How we do this is we have a very empowered agency partner who has community managers that are very much Nando's dedicated. And we have a small social tactical war room that we use via WhatsApp, where 6 or 7 of us are involved, and we make decisions rapidly via technology so that we can get this material up and out. So we don't have a very hierarchical chain of approval. We have quite a flat structure at Nando's. I guess we have sort of 3 layers. We have our ExCo, we have the OpsCo level, which is the ExCo +1, and then we have everyone else that runs our business. So it's not very difficult to talk to the top, and it's not very difficult for a very junior person in our business to have a conversation with someone on the ExCo. And that makes it very easy for us to get social material up and out really quickly. So why does a chicken brand make adverts about socioeconomic and political issues? So this is a very cool question, and I love answering this because this gets asked every single time we get into trouble with things when we say online. And the main spirit at Nando's is about elevating the voice of people, of South Africans particularly. So we tend to get entangled in socioeconomic and political issues because that's what people are entangled in. So South Africans are living their lives every single day in these issues, dealing with these problems and talking about them. And we like to participate in what people are interested in and what they are talking about. So instead of trying to send a message and tell our consumers something about ourselves, we want to be part of what they are talking about between each other. We're conversationalists and engagers, not brands on a pedestal trying to tell you what to do with your life and draw your attention to us and talk about ourselves. So that ends up being quite socioeconomic and political because those are the issues that most people are dealing with on a daily basis. And it doesn't always have to be like that. We've been involved in celebrity entanglements. We've been involved in sports. We've been involved in all sorts of different issues. At the moment, we're talking about vaccinations. These are all things that are relevant to the people. And we just like to use our platform to amplify that. So it doesn't start with, let's make an ad about politics. It starts with, what do people care about? What do they need help saying? What can we say on their behalf? What issues can we elevate to try and make people realize and remind them that we are with them and of them. We grew up alongside them. We didn't import a brand, build a restaurant and go, please buy our chicken. We would like you to buy our chicken, but that's not the only thing we do. How are you so creative with your advertising? This is all about being brave and trusting. So when an agency comes to you and says, we want to make an ad about the 10 Beasts at 10, which was the biggest news story of the year, how do we how do we do that? What happens in the boardroom that we are in? And what happens is that we laugh and think that's a great idea, because that's what people have talked about this year. That's something that was very much a part of our new space for quite a few weeks and months. So it would make sense if we did something with that, and if people felt that they could relate to the content that we're making, because we're making content that's about their lives and their lived reality. So we are brave in our advertising. We are courageous, and maybe our size enables that to be the case. We don't really report to a global office in the way a lot of other brands do, where you've got Americans or British people potentially who are not understanding your local landscape. We make all of our decisions here locally in South Africa. So it's easy for us to understand the context very, very quickly, and to trust that the creative ideas that are coming to us are going to support our business in the way that we need them to. How do you come up with new meals? So that's kind of fun part of our business. So all marketers would know that you control the 4 P's in marketing. And one of those P's is product. And in our business, our food, our meals are our products. So we have quite a robust new product development pipeline. I work very closely with the head of food at Nandos. I call her the Hoff, head of food. And she is a trained chef who develops food aligned to the Nandos Afro-Luso influence and brand. And we work with that and what customers and consumers are needing. So if consumers say that they need really anything above 50 Rand is a lot of money for me to spend on a meal right now, I need to know that we need to create a meal that is authentic, home of chicken, peri-peri, home of peri-peri, Nando's meal under 50 Rand, and that's differentiated from what other brands can do. And this year's big innovation that we launched was the chicken Prego. So that's what you're looking at right now. The chicken Prego is a key new product for us, and it kind of is one of those products where we went all along, we should have been doing this, the delicious air-baked Portuguese roll with our very famous chicken fillet, and these caramelized onions, all basted in delicious peri-peri, your flavor of choice, whether you're an extra hot or a lemon and mild person, and served with our chips, peri-sprinkled chips. And so that's how we come up with new meals. And in the restaurant business, unlike FMCG, you can trial and launch fairly quickly. So we can trial something, and 8 months later, we can have it up and out live within all of 275 restaurants in South Africa. So that makes a huge difference in terms of getting innovation to market as quickly as you can. What does Nando's do to empower others? So I think we sometimes get criticized by a lot of our consumers for not overtly doing as much as they think we should do. And this is mostly because we're quite shy about talking about ourselves. So all of the pink blocks that you can see here are just a handful of things that we do on a regular basis as a business that we're not very good at telling people about. And that's mostly because, again, we don't like to draw attention to ourselves and say, look how great we are. We do all these amazing things. We believe that these things are part of good business. So we don't have a CSI department. Everyone does these things. These are core marketing programs or core business and operational programs that we do ongoing. So, for example, the Hot Young Designers program that we run is run by our property team. So by day, our property team is negotiating rentals to help our casas, our different restaurants get the best deal. They're trying to build new format restaurants, launch new restaurants in new places, design restaurants to look a certain way. And the Hot Young Designers program is run by the property team, who then support a pipeline of young designers by elevating their designs and actually purchasing the designs of the furniture, the decor, the fabrics, the crockery, everything that you see inside our casa comes from a Hot Young Designer program. And the number of designers that we support to grow into real working designers who can actually earn a living as designers. And that's a program that we run every year. So, for example, we're very well known in the designer community for that. We do quite a lot of work with music from a Bridges Academy for Music perspective. So we sponsor bursaries for people to learn business and entrepreneurial skills within the music industry so that they can work and live within the music industry. A lot of that music is then put onto our Heatwave radio platform, which is the radio, the sound of Nandos, what you hear when you're inside a restaurant. Our Hot Ideas, that's actually an internal campaign. So this is a very business, like it's almost like a Shark Tank in a way. So anyone in our business, whether you are racking chickens and cleaning the kitchen, or whether you are a waitress, or you are a part of our people team, or whoever you are, you can come up with an idea that you think will fundamentally change the business. You are then partnered with someone in the strategic team to help you write your business plan and to give you some coaching on how to pitch your idea, and you then pitch your idea to a panel of our exco. And if your idea wins, you get a huge cash prize, and we basically implement your idea in our business. So it's a really amazing way to get innovation and new things to come to life and rise to the top. We also do quite a lot of work with Constitution Hill. We support the Flame of Democracy. It uses the same gas as the gas that we use in our grills in our restaurants. We pay people well. That's another reason that our chicken's a bit more expensive. We pay people properly. We have a relationship with the Spear Art Trust, as I was talking about at the beginning of my presentation. All the art that you see in every single Nandos across the world is owned by Nandos as part of the art collection that we pay and purchase at market rates. Our Perry farms, we grow birds actually in 4 different Southern African countries, and we commit upfront to those farmers what we're going to purchase at above market rates, so we pay properly for that. We support a number of independent farming co-ops, some of whom are female-only co-ops, so that we can we can purchase food locally from lots of smaller suppliers, as opposed to going to one big supplier, which makes your supply chain process much easier, as opposed to going, well, these guys have only got this number of farms and these people only produce this type of food. So we go to huge amounts of length and effort to support local agriculture from different co-ops. We also employ a lot of our Nandakas via the Harambee Youth Employment Agency. So that bridges the gap between your education and your employability. So our whole call center, most of our Nandaka staff at restaurant level are all employed via that NGO process. And then we have a number of other things that we do. Now, I'm sure everyone on this call, even though I can't see your faces, everyone is going, oh, I had no idea that Nandos did those things. And it's because we don't really talk about them. We just think that it's good business. We don't do this for PR. We do this because it's the right thing to do. And actually it has a business benefit in the end. It makes a huge difference to me that I've got high quality, locally sourced food that I don't have to wait and pay import duty on 28 weeks later when the ship finally gets here. It makes our business much better to have ideas that our own people have come up with and that I can reward them with, that we can actually implement, that makes a fundamental difference to our operations and how we run our business. So these are just some of the things that we do as a business to empower other people, and it actually helps us too. So it's the perfect type of empowerment. So at the end of all of that, when people ask me what advice do I have for other businesses, and I'm sure Nolene will ask all of your speakers today what their advice is for businesses, these are my rules to work by. This is what I do. It works for me. So the first thing to look at when you're building your plans for next year is to solve the customer problem, not the business problem. And it's very easy to do when you just write it down that way. But in actual fact, I think you'll find that most of what you're doing is about trying to solve a business problem, trying to make more money, trying to make things more profitable, trying to get your restaurant built, your shop built, whatever it is. Those are all business problems and they don't affect the customer. And if you take a look from the customer's perspective and you go, what are the customer's issues actually, and how can I meet them where they're at? You'll find that your plan writes itself a lot more fluidly than if you were to try and fix a business problem. Everyone wants to make more money. This is obvious. Every business, no matter how big, is trying to do that. That's a business problem. It's not really going to help the customer. Number 2 is progress over perfection. I don't think anything we've done is perfect at Nandos. We have a really good hit rate. We're accoladed and awarded, and I still think that a lot of our stuff is not perfect in any way. But there isn't a lot of time for perfection, and in most cases, it's not really attainable. There's always stuff that goes slightly wrong or differently from how you intended and planned, or you need more money, or you're late, or whatever it might be. You need to celebrate progress over perfection. Getting things up and out and happening in the real world means a lot more than you sitting in your office making your PowerPoint and thinking you're changing things when actually the customer doesn't see or hear that. And they're making a decision without you in an invisible vacuum because you're not there every single moment of every single day at the shelf or on their computers. Number 3 is sit your picture of success up front and then learn from anything else you discover along the way. So know what it is you're trying to achieve, be able to quantify your success picture and what will be the picture of success. If I do well here, what do I want to see? And then all the other stuff that comes along the way, you learn from and you implement later. So if your campaign idea was to reach more people, then that is the measure of success. But if you also realize that your actual frequency of your consumers, then that's something you learned along the way. It's a nice to have. It's not the picture of success. It's just a benefit. Fourth rule to work by is know where you've come from and don't fear where you're going. So there is a lot to be said for history, and everyone needs to know and understand their business's history and the context in which they're marketing. And that's really, really critical. You can't expect to stand on the shoulders of others and not know what shoulders you're standing on. It's absolutely essential. There's no amount of information that is a waste in terms of your past, but you cannot fear where you're going. Marketing specifically is a harbinger of the future. It is our job to usher in the future and to help everyone else in our business understand what it holds for us. We cannot leave the harbinger of the future role to people in the people team, in the finance team, or in the ops team. They're trying to make the here and now work. They're trying to make everything work out so that they can meet the objectives of the business in the here and now. We are the people that tell our business where we should be going in 3, 5, and 10 years' time. So you cannot fear that. And you cannot stop away from crashing. You have to ride it. And if you're not riding it, then get a different surfboard because it's not going to stop. And then do the deep work. So I break this up internally and externally. So internally, understand how others that you need do what they do and enable them to do it better. There's nothing more frustrating when people don't understand what it is that you do and how you do it. It's really annoying. And I know that marketers specifically feel very upset about this. We don't like being the coloring in department. We don't like being the part of the business that must help if we've run out of coffee and someone must run down to the shop for marketing and get more coffee because there's no coffee. Like, these are all annoying things. And it's just as annoying for other people in the business. I might not place our demand forecasts for food like my supply chain does, but I know how they do it because I have a deep and abiding respect for the amount of work that goes into that. And I want to help them as much as possible. So learning and understanding what other people do and how they do it is absolutely essential. The best example actually that I can give of this is the IT department. So I'm sure that everyone runs to IT when their laptop breaks, and when everything else is going well, you forget completely about them. And they're just these little guys in the corner surrounded by thousands of empty laptop boxes. Well, that's kind of like how it is where we work. And not understanding what it takes to set up a network in a business and chain all your computers, laptops, till points together. Not understanding how that even happens is not going to win you any favors internally when you need help. And then externally, stand in the shoes of the consumer. Visit, listen, and care about what they care about. And I love nothing more than being amongst my consumers. I used to do this at 5FM. I used to wear like at events and things, I used to wear a hoodie over my head so that I could be on the dance floor in the club and listen to what people were saying about the music. And I think you really have to be with your consumer and where they're at. You have to understand their lives and walk in their shoes so that you can understand what they're dealing with on an everyday basis. We live our lives inside the Nandos brand here at Nandos. We know everything. We know our menu backwards. We know our prices backwards. We know every single ad when it drops. The consumer doesn't know that. We're competing for their attention, and we can't expect that they should know that. So we have to be worthy of their time. So we need to fit into their lives in such a way that we add value. And the only way you can really understand that is by being with your consumers. When you start working at Nandos, you have to do a restaurant training, which is intense. So you have to actually stand at the grills in your safety shoes and figure out where the food goes, how it gets assembled, where it comes from, how it gets put on the grill, how it gets packaged, coordinated, sent out, how the cashiers work and the tills, how upsells work. This is a huge amount. It was incredibly stressful. I mean, my feet were never so sore in my life as they were at the end of that week. And I still look back on that week and think, thank goodness I did that. It was the most helpful training ever to see what customers actually say when they're standing at Nandos. You know, what do they actually ask for? What do they actually look at? What point of sale do they actually see? Are we actually helping them order, or are we just hoping that they're going to land on the right message and, you know, read absolutely every single piece of copy that's around them, because there's 35 pieces of point of sale around them? That's not the case. And you can only learn that by doing and by being part of that market. So those are my rules to live by. And then I said to Eileen that I would sort of preempt the Q&A a little bit before anyone asks any questions. So these are, for me personally, the questions that I get. What's it like working at Nandos? It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of privilege, and it's also quite scary sometimes because we're such a well-known brand. So you don't want to be that marketing manager that produces an ad that performs less well than people's favorite ad of all time that they know and love to be Nandos. There's a lot to be responsible and accountable for. What's my inspiration? I love having an effect on a market. I love to shape the chain and see the market move. And there's nothing more inspiring than watching your whole strategy start to actually deliver the results that you expected in the market. It's very exciting to do that. And that takes time and patience. How do you get to work for Nandos? If you want a job at Nandos, you need to have a look at our LinkedIn page and start applying for the various jobs that we post. There are opportunities. We employ over 14,000 people in South Africa. So feel free to get applying. How I did it, and here I am. What am I most proud of? Changes all the time. I'm proud of work on a weekly and a monthly basis that we do. I'm not really a big fan of awards. I don't really chase those. I don't think that they're important. But most recently, my biggest achievement from an award perspective was when we won Marketing Organization of the Year, and that was for 2020, the year of COVID. And it really was an incredible award to get because it meant that the business came together at a key time. And it's by far not our best sales year. I'm sure you will know that the restaurant industry suffered tremendously during 2020. And we definitely didn't make our budgets. We definitely didn't make our targets. We couldn't trade for numerous times during that year, and yet we navigated and held the line and figured out how to get our business through that process. And that accolade meant a lot more to me than any beautiful lurry of amazing ads that we've made, or any Assegai award for beautiful design or internal campaigns. That was our whole team, the whole business, led by marketing, which is a great honor and privilege. Not every business gets that opportunity. We are truly marketing led.